It's definitely a difficult scenario because you have to answer these questions now, and you're going to have to figure out a way to segue to messages that we're trying to understand. But you have to answer the questions first, and I don't really know what the answer is for the 24 hours. What is the explanation when they say, "What do you think the results are?" What do they confirm for you?
I think something like hand like this pretty interesting, to be honest. People need to realize that it's like the sunspots also flips. And we're gonna dissect the sunspots more. I'm really kind of waiting on the key. And so I'm like, people are asking why it's like with every passing moment, it gets more sketchy that we don't have all the data. It's like, kind of explaining here that it was like really pretty physically daunting in a way, and then like finally get back, and I immediately had to go to Tennessee. And so I was just like, yo, with all the people, instead of being like, yo, you guys are, thank you so much for doing all that. It's like a large portion of the community is like trying to burn us at the stake. And so if you put yourself in our shoes, right, all that did was really deter any type of like motivation of expediency, right? Because it's like, um, I don't know, we had to sit with some of the most toxic people on the earth, like McToon, sitting there gloating. So we were forced to be in close proximity with like Globers gloating and doing streams gloating and making comments and like making fun of other flat earthers and tracking them down and cashing bets and like showing us what they won on bets and just like all around gloating on top of like us being pretty clearly shafted in many different ways, not given the Wi-Fi password for like the first eight, I think 10 hours actually of the Wi-Fi being set up, which messed up my Insta360, which needed a firmware update once I got there. So everyone's setting up all their stuff, and I can't because I can't even firmware update my Insta360. And the bag situation, and the get there a day early to rest situation, and all this. Whereas ALE was like clearly catering to Will because he paid for everything, and he's obviously giving the Globers the inside scoop, and then they start gloating. So anyway, we're doing all that on top of all of like kind of the physical aspects of it. Um, and obviously just deep down, all of us would have preferred maybe see the sunset, right? And so all of it's kind of compounded to then turn around and like kind of expect like this to be a community thing where people are like, dude, thanks for, and bro, I'm not a victim. I'm not like crying or anything. I'm just explaining to you guys the perspective. Because then really got to Lise, for example, right? Like she was pissed off, bro, and felt so betrayed by so many people. Jaren too, where it's like you're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to go back to the community. We're gonna figure it out together. Like it sucked, but seemingly someone had to do it. We were able to go ahead and confront it, and it's like those people are 10 times more vicious in their attacks than like any of the Globers. It's pretty surreal, right? So, yeah, anyway, so all that being said, then you get home and it just so happens to be right at the holidays where everyone obviously has plans and have kind of orchestrated their plans accordingly based on when they'll be back. Like me, for example, was going to be way better for everyone in my family to kind of get together for the holidays like mid-December because my sister was graduating law school and all this. We were all going to go around the same time. And I threw a wrench in that whole thing in there. So everyone rearranged everything, did the best they could. And so we have specific days. So when I get back, I feel sick. I'm trying to chill with my family and rest, but I can't be around my girls too much because I feel sick. And, germ theory is not real, but that doesn't mean I can't detox around my like 5-month old. And so I don't even take chances with stuff like that. Then immediately we have to pack all kinds of bags up again, like just take my clothes out, do some laundry, pack bags up again, and then immediately go with a 2-year-old and a 5-month old like through a freaking airport. And obviously I'm not letting them fry my baby, so everything is extra. Long story short, it's like a whole thing. And I may would have like really tried to persevere and prioritize contacting everyone else, man, like, yo, can I get your stuff right now? Can we get this stuff out right now? But like just seeing the reaction of so many people where I can't even open my X app without just every notification being slander, and then quote unquote believers like bearing false witness and like claiming to do so in the name of the creator, I find detestable. So I just decided to largely disconnect from the whole thing and just chill with family. I didn't care at all. I left my SIM cards. I left my SD cards. I left my cameras. I just wanted to chill with family. And I got back last night. Um, I have a feeling that I'm not the only one that kind of feels like that. So that's the reason, so everyone knows why people haven't rushed to do it. We're like, dude, we went, we gave you eyewitness testimony, we pulled off freaking live streams from Antarctica. We went out of our way to make sure you did get at least a 24-hour sun video off the rip super quickly. We're like tailoring what we're doing and how we're live streaming based on the critique or the questions or the skepticism. I'm like jumping in Discord all the time, jumping in Clubhouse all the time, jumping on X all the time. We've been super transparent and we went over and beyond and pulled off things that would have been, just assumed to have been a pipe dream like just a year ago. So we're like, yo, whatever. You guys will get all the data. We'll sift through all of it. But a lot of it, it's better that it all kind of starts coming out together anyway. I almost want to just clip this so I don't have to keep explaining it. But
Yeah, if I
I don't know
may.
when necessarily asked for it, but now you guys kind of get the whole backstory. It's like last thing I'll point out as well, some of this stuff is just extremely big file, which is very difficult to do when you're in Antarctica, right? Like the fact that we even pulled off some of these data points is pretty impressive. Like a 1 terabyte, 25-hour long 360 video that it can be used to corroborate the validity of all the other videos, right? Because you can literally like overlay them or like just like fact check them by saying, oh, this camera's pointed at this angle and the sun's here and the shadow's here, and then the relative position of this camera at the same time is showing that camera move and track the sun there and blah 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 blah. Oh, and I know that they went live at this time. Let's move to this point in the video and I'll see Witsit going live, I'll see McToon going live, I'll see them doing the drone thing on the 360. That's like a terabyte. And then after 8 hours, it only 15% exported. So it exported 15% after 8 hours consecutively. So it's like, yeah, I mean, when we were in Punta Arenas, we had like less than 1 megabit upload and like 4 download or something. So even when we got back from Antarctica and we're exhausted and still had to do all these different like meetings and had to like blah blah blah. Um, we really couldn't even try to data dump everything there either. So, it's easy to say it's super sketchy. He's been home, they've been home for a week. We don't have all the data yet. When you actually properly address all the details and the variables of people, almost everyone having traveled to hang with family right when they got back, like it makes perfect sense that the data will come out over the next week or so. Sorry, I know that was a lot.
Austin, I missed it. What was all that stuff you said you didn't want to repeat? Could you say
Yeah,
again?
clip it. Clip it.